talk about a spiritual battle. It is amazing. It's time to wake up, folks. If not now, when? When will you take control of your own life? And to Black Americans, as individuals, when will you take control of your own life and get away from the group mentality and become an individual? You're not going to be free, no one, until that happens as an adult. You got to think for yourself so you can know that you know that you know that you know. I was reflecting on yesterday, every Thursday is Bible Thumper Thursday, where we try to give the Bible thumpers a little bit more time to have a conversation to try to get some understanding. It's still difficult, but we still try. And what I realized, I already knew it, but it's just even more so now. You have the Bible thumpers calling in on Thursdays, and they've already made up their mind when they call in. They want to rush and get some Bible thumping in. They don't want to communicate. They just want to get the Bible thumper in, put the word out there to deceive the people with the word. And then you say, well, let's conversate. No, I'm not going to answer the question. We're not going to conversate. It's not going to go that way. There's one or two people, a handful, that really want to overcome. They want to understand. And most of the Bible thumpers are unwilling because they're intellectual and they have the word in the intellect, but it's not in their hearts. Most Bible thumpers don't even know that the word of God is written upon the heart. They don't know that. They think you got to read the Bible and put it on the heart. Isn't that crazy? But that's intellectual. And they don't want you to know that though they intellectually know the Bible, they're still miserable. And so they try to keep you in their hell. Well, that's what's happening with this black thing. And what I've noticed, a couple things I noticed about the black issue, is that the blacks who are into the black issue, all about black, they are never going to let the black thing go because it's like the Bible thumpers. They're not going to let the word go. Though they're not at peace, they have no happiness or anything. They have false happiness, but that doesn't last. The black people that are into the black thing, because there are blacks who are starting to overcome it, but the blacks that are into it never going to let it go. They use racism to get so-called power and money, and then they use racism in order to stay in so-called power and wealth. They never let it go. Never. And a couple things I realized, the black issue is promoting black females over black men. It's not just the white liberals who are doing it. It's the black males and females liberals who are doing it as well, and the right-o Republicans. There was an election in New York where they had to take out a white Republican. They didn't have to, but they forced him out. He won in a district there, and they're like, he won because he was lying. He lied. He's a white Hispanic. Is that right, James? The guy that they forced out. Okay, a white Hispanic. And now the Republicans have chosen a black female to take his place. George Santos. And they got a black female. What I realized is that not only are blacks disrespected in that much is not required of them, but black men, nothing is required of you at all. You're totally being disrespected. And And so I reflected, when did this start? And I realized that it started with the civil rights movement, so-called civil rights movement, which was the worst thing that ever happened to the blacks other than abortion, was the civil rights movement. And during the civil rights movement, prior to the civil rights movement, the black men were the head of the families for the most part. And it was understood and things were working as a result of that. The children were doing fine for the most part. The women were happier. And the order of God was working. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, woman over children were working. And then the civil rights movement was thought of, which was a socialist movement, in order to control the blacks for personal gain. But anyway, what they decided under Martin Luther King and all those guys, what they decided was to give the blacks, along with the Democratic Party, to give the blacks welfare. And in order to do that, they had to put the black men on the back burner and give the woman welfare to push her up front in order to use her to help get the perceived power and wealth they wanted, the Jesse Jackson and all those so-called civil rights leaders. And so even the black so-called civil rights movement put black men on the back burner, those who allowed them to do it. Some older black men didn't allow that to happen to them, but a lot of younger black men did. And even today, the black female is worship and the black man is on the back burner, and things are only going to get worse because that's not the order of life. And in your own personal, private life and family life, if you don't have that order, it's disorder, and nothing is going to work but that. Zero. And so when you really, really pay attention, people don't respect black males. Not that you need them to respect you, because if you took control, men, black and white, no matter what color, if you took control of your own life, you don't need respect from anyone else, really. But the black men don't understand what's really going on with them, how they're being destroyed by their mothers, by turning them away from their fathers and imposing their will on the sons and daughters, and then how their black leadership is exploiting them as well. It's interesting to see it. And I got proof of it. So that's why I'm talking about it. And it's amazing, though, what's really, really happening right in front of you. But if you're not aware, you can't see it. If you have anger, you can't see what's really happening. It's like men who get involved with women who already have children, who've already been married before or have children in the marriage or outside the marriage. And they get involved with these women, trying to save them. Because the women say, oh, I was abused by my last husband or boyfriend. And the man feels sorry for her, when he's really not feeling sorry for her. It's all for the other thing. And he ended up catching that same hell that the first man caught. Trying to save. It's a mess, huh? But that's what's happening in your own world when you don't take control of your own life. When you don't take control of your own life as an adult and be controlled by what is right, by overcoming evil. So here is an example of, and then second, fourth, third, fourth, wherever I'm at in numbers. I've said over and over again to white Americans that you're making a horrible mistake by turning over your country to these blacks because all they're going to do is destroy it. The liberal black males and weak black Republican males and females as well. They're never going to make it better. I can't think, and no one has proven to me yet. Maybe someone has something now, but no one has proven to me or shown to me that I'm wrong. And wherever blacks are in leadership, running it, the community, state, city, or county, or country, it's all a sham. It's a mess. It's not working. And whites, due to the fear they have, the fear of being called racist, and the fear of losing a job or something, they won't stand up for what is right, so they're losing their country. And it's all hell. Look at New York. Look at Chicago. Look at Atlanta, Georgia. All the areas where the blacks are in control, nothing but chaos. People are running away from those cities and states, not to them. Isn't that amazing? Even the wealthy blacks are leaving those states, but yet you keep allowing them to take over your country. Amazing. Here's an example of a couple of things. A failure of a black so-called mayor, a black mayor who put in a black female before the black men, and a black man, I believe, hate white people because he's always promoting black instead of what is right. He is the mayor of New York. Eric Adams worshiping his queen. This is from the New York Post. After introducing his 5 female deputy mayors of color and others in his racially and ethnically diverse administration, Adam ranted to his predominantly black audience. Watch this from X.
Stand up. They need to see you. Deputy Mayor Williams Isom, Deputy Mayor Mira Josie, Deputy Mayor Amazar, Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer. Have you ever seen this much chocolate leading the city of New York? This is representative of the city. That's why people are hating on me. You trying to figure out why they're hating on me? They're hating on me because how many of you go to church? Ma'am, this is a Matthew 21:12 moment. Jesus walked in the temple. He saw them doing wrong in the temple. He did what? He turned the table over. I went to City Hall to turn the table over. First woman police commissioner of color. First Spanish-speaking police commissioner. First Spanish-speaking correction commissioner. Go through the line of what we're doing.
That's evil. Can you imagine a white liberal mayor or conservative mayor standing with an all-white predominant audience and saying, look at all the vanilla in the room. Vanilla everywhere. Vanilla Mary, Vanilla Sue, Vanilla Lizzie, Vanilla Rebecca. Everywhere vanilla. This is what made New York work. This is why I'm so hated. Can you imagine that? And I haven't heard, and maybe someone did, but one white person say anything about it. That's evil, by the way, for the black audience to sit in there and go along with it. And then they evoke Jesus' name. Calling the devil Jesus. And New York is in a mess. Crime everywhere. The streets of New York is no longer safe at all. Just like Chicago, just like Atlanta. How come white people are so quiet about it? What do you think the outcome is going to be? This is evil. That's a room full of evil spirit, dark evil spirits. Would you call that black supremacy? Is that black supremacy? If white people were doing the exact same thing, the same words with a white audience and so-called white deputy females, would it be called white supremacy? The blacks are doing what Joe Biden administration is doing with the Great White Hope. They're causing nothing but chaos and blaming it on Trump. The blacks are doing the same thing, chaos, and blaming it on the whites, white supremacy. But they're repeating, doing the same thing they're accusing them of. And that's what all the accusers do. When people are accusing, they are talking about themselves. You can mark my word on that. And when I say my country is gone, do you believe me now? And I know that there are men who fought in the military, there are some who died, were wounded, and suffered for the country. But look, it was a waste of time. You wasted your life over nothing. And the wars are fake too. It's all for personal gain. Ego gain. It's not, the wars are made up and done for people to make money and get so-called power. The world is evil, it is fake. But if you can overcome the world within yourself, you're going to understand the world outside of you, inside of others, and you'll see what's going on. You won't fall for the color thing or the male or female thing. You will understand. You allowed hell to reign upon earth. And the reason that these weak males are putting in these females, because they know that the hell is coming to her. And that's why do you think they push the black woman the black female so hard? They know the black female just going to raise hell. The black female raised so much hell, she has the black males calling them queens. They call them queen because they are afraid of them. Here's another example of pure hell, putting black men on the back burner and promoting the black woman, and it's nothing but chaos. There is a black male in Chicago, worse than the black radical lesbian that was before him. It just got worse. The people keep voting in worse because within themselves, they're not free. And you're attracted to what you hate. Why do you think men end up getting involved? Every woman they get involved with is their mothers. And women, every man they get involved with is their weak fathers. And the cycle repeats itself. It's like this black male by the name of Brendan Johnson. He is so weak, it's pathetic. He's complaining. He's the mayor of Chicago and still complaining. It's like they elected him to complain. This is from X. Chicago Mayor Brendan Johnson blows up when a reporter asks him about his border plans. Watch this from X.
I have children who attend schools who have soccer games, y'all. You know, you all are asking me as if I'm not a parent in this city. I get it. I'm mayor. I get it. But you're asking me to give you a date, and I have to court. Do you understand that you have not had a mayor like me? I get that. I have a wife. I have children. They have schedules. And plus, we still have public safety that we have to address. We still have the unhoused that we have to address. I still have a budget that I have to address. And I'm doing all of that with a black wife raising 3 black children on the west side of the city of Chicago. I am going to the border as soon as possible.
Amazing. Why did he run for mayor if he couldn't do the job? He got a black wife. What that mean? I'm catching hell for my black female wife? How you expect me to function? I'm catching hell from her. I got a black wife. What was the point of saying that? He's letting you know, I guess, I don't know, but he catching hell at home. How you expect him to go to work? What kind of mayor is that? Y'all expect me to go down to the border? Y'all know I'm black and I don't want to work. What the? Black people don't like to work. We just want to be mayor because the title sounds nice and the pay is good. And you get to be on TV. Y'all expect me to work? What the? This is affirmative action. Black people don't work. Affirmative action reparation. I got a black wife and black children. Y'all expect me to go down to the borders? Y'all expect me to do something about crime? What the? I do want to add that prior to the so-called civil rights movement, which is no such thing as civil rights movement, civil rights, that the blacks would not like this for the most part. Really. I'm a witness to that, not because somebody said it, but they would not like this. They were individuals. They thought for themselves. They didn't have black leadership. They thought for themselves. Only God were over them, and the parents was over the children. And they did quite well. That changed when the so-called civil rights movement came along. And now you have grown adult black males that would beat you down if you try to tell them that they don't need a leader, that they can think and do for themselves. They'll fight for their black so-called leadership. And they will fight to keep the black female as head of them. They're queen. A weak king under the queen. A no-function king under the queen. What kind of king is that? I never imagined growing up, right? Because I grew up where the blacks were independent people. They were like the Jews and like the whites in that they thought and did for themselves. They worked hard. They were not blaming others. They were not into the slave thing. That's all you ever hear complain about slavery. And they had nothing to do with slavery, wasn't in it, wasn't a part of it at all. They didn't have black leadership over them. They didn't have the black men whining like the black females, talking about this and that, calling the white man white supremacy. When I was growing up, you rarely heard about slavery. But that's all you hear from the blacks now. They weren't even a part of slavery, had nothing to do with slavery or anything. It had nothing to do with their life today. And the grown black males are always talking about slavery and Jim Crow and all that. The male worse than the women about it. And it's not even true, first of all, right? But even the black, not all, but most black men or males believe that white men are superior to them. And you hear it because they say white supremacy. They're telling you the white man is superior to them. They believe that. They act that way because they believe it. It's not true, but that's what they believe. And whatever you believe, that's what controls you. This is what you get in America. I told you 30-something years ago, if you turn your country over to the blacks, in 10 years, it will be a ghetto. I rest my case. And the thing about it, the victimization never ends. And you hear this from black females and black males. Let me tell you about the history of blacks in America. Blacks in slavery. Blacks is nothing but complaint. The victimization never ends. This is from Fox. The View host was shocked to discover her family hidden history in a new episode of the PBS documentary show, Finding Your Roots. On Tuesday's episode, Henry Louis Gates Jr. revealed one of her ancestors were likely involved in the slave trade in Spain. Watch this from PBS and The View.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others. At first, I was deeply disappointed.
The slave thing is a bummer.
It's a bummer.
I can't control it.
I still believe in reparations, by the way, so y'all can stop texting me and emailing me and saying that I'm a white girl and that I don't deserve reparations. So I still believe in reparations. I still believe this country has a lot to do in terms of racial justice. I feel that I'm enriched by knowing that history. Yeah. I'm enriched, and I'm enriched by knowing that my family has come so far from being enslavers to my mother marrying my father in 1968. Well, yeah.
Oh, but slavery is bad, but she's feeling rich knowing that her mother come so far. How about the rest of the people in America? Now she's saying it's just the facts of life. And look how far we have come. Why can't she say that about America? Slavery was a fact of life. Look how far we have come in this country and drop it. Huh? I can't hear you. Oh, it's just a fact of life. Like slavery was in America, it's a fact of life. It was like that in Africa, and it's still like that in Africa. They're enslaving the blacks over there, especially the Ala people. Now she said, oh, it's just a fact of life. Look how far we've come. Oh, but I still want I'm still in favor of reparations. And a little bit more about the black mayor of New York, Eric Adams, according to Vlad TV. New York revealed the city is launching a, get this, $53 million program. The black mayor, according to this report, is launching a $53 million program to give out prepaid credit cards to migrants, meaning illegal aliens, families who are being put in New York hotels.
What the?
They're saying migrant, I'm telling you, is illegal alien. They're launching a $53 million program to give out prepaid credit cards to migrant families, meaning illegal alien families, who are being put in New York hotels. I rest my case, and you want these people to run your country. Outkick is reported, Outkick.com, 50 Cent is not a fan of New York City's plan. The rapper, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, took to Instagram to express his frustration. He said, Mayor Adams, call me. Call my phone. I don't understand how this works. I'm stuck. Maybe Trump is the answer, you think?
Amazing.
And then New York Post reported Mayor Adams called on 50 Cent to hit me up. after rapper dissed migrant credit card. They're giving out $53 million worth of prepaid credit card to illegal aliens while putting them up in hotels. And you want these people running your country, white folks. Here's where, according to the New York Post, the mayor asked for 50 Cent to hit him up. Watch this from X.
And so I know that on the first brush, you look at it and say, oh, wait a minute, what are you doing? You're getting people cars? But once you dig into the numbers and in the line, you'll see that this was a smart policy shift that we're doing on a pilot project with 500 people. If this is successful, we're going to expand it even more. So, I told 50 Cent to hit me up. I would love to explain it to him so that he can go out and do another tweet of saying, you know what, Eric is just a smart manager, and now we understand why he was elected by the people of this city of New York to be the mayor. He may even write a song about me.
Eric Adams so dumb, he think he's smart. He think what he's doing is right because all he has is a hood mentality. And you want these people to run your country right into the ground. And just think about this. They're letting all these illegal aliens come into our country. They're ending up in the inner cities, in the hood. And now the black gangs and Mexican gangs are fighting each other, and crime and drugs getting worse. And the blacks still vote for the Democrats, whether a black Democrat or a white Democrat. And so I guess as a result of what this so-called Mayor Adam is doing, 3 other new Trump fans, the Great White Hope, the Hill.com is reporter, rapper Snoop Dogg did a U-turn on his opinion about Donald Trump, saying he has nothing but love and respect for the former president. Following years of criticism, Snoop Dogg said, he ain't done nothing wrong to me. He has done only great things for me. Remember, Snoop Dogg was against the Great White Hope in the beginning. Somebody needs to tell Eric Adams, handout, a handout is a handout is a handout. And white folks, y'all let these folks run your country. And you're trying to hide in the suburbs, it ain't working. They're following you out there, robbing you, raping you, breaking in and stealing your cars and all kinds of things. So Snoop Dogg, I guess, according to this report, is for the Great White Hope. Things are so bad now for these that even, according to Fox, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith, railed against $53 million pilot program for illegals. Predicts Trump victory. Watch this from Stephen A. Smith.
I see homeless folks in the streets of New York all the time that are American citizens. We've got poor, impoverished, starving people who were born and raised in this nation. How in the hell do we come up with a $53 million pilot program for illegals, but folks who are here legally are born here, we don't have enough for them? Just like we could come up with billions for Ukraine. How the hell do you print money for foreign countries, but you don't print that money to help eradicate folks that are starving right here in the streets of America who were born and raised here? That's why Trump is on the verge of getting elected, reelected.
Amazing. And you want these folks to run your country because you're afraid of being called racist. You're afraid of losing something. You love material things and fake reputations over what's right. over what's right. In order to gain a life, you must lose a life. You must lose your ego. America was founded and built by white men. The greatest country on this side of heaven with the help of God. And all these so-called people of color are doing nothing but destroying it. And so it's a slap in the face. It's a finger, the fingers to those white men who worked so hard with the help of God to create the greatest country. And you're just handing it over because you're afraid. Fear is not of God. Perfect love casts out fear. You got to forgive. Even Ben Shapiro, according to Facebook.com, Ben Shapiro revealed why he changed his mind on Trump. Watch this from Sky News.
Now, you in 2016, in March, I think it was, said this about Trump. If we don't say no to Donald Trump now, we will continue drifting ever further left, diluting conservatism into the vacillating, demagogic absurdity of Trumpism. How do you feel today?
Well, I mean, I was wrong on that one, so that's good. I mean, you know, I think that in 2016, my objections to Trump were character-based, and they were sort of looking at the state of the world and saying, I just object to this choice. I didn't vote for Hillary. I'm not voting for Trump. That was my take in 2016. So I just didn't vote for president at the top of the ticket in 2016 at all. And so obviously I was wrong about all of that.
Right on. I interviewed Ben back then too. I told you, Ben, what the? Amazing. And if ever we needed God in our country, we need it now. And as a matter of fact, Eric Adams giving all that money to the illegal aliens, there are men who fought in the military for our country, body parts chopped up, lost limbs, or come back psychologically out of it and living on the streets. But they can give the money to the illegal aliens who done nothing but enter our country illegally, and they get money in hotels, while the men who sacrifice their life for the country get nothing. And even if they go over to the veteran hospital, it's difficult. One last one on this black female Hinyard. According to the Daily Mail, Hinyard is slammed for living like a royal after demanding $300,000 salary using taxpayer money for her hair and makeup. Watch this from Daily Mail. It's no voice to it, but they showing her. I am proud, she said. This is why they use black racism, so they can get in there and do this. Amazing. And the blacks would still vote for them.